Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel startuplanes.com. I am More Tanvi, and as you know, these are the series of interviews that we are conducting for the promotion of some excellent startups across our country. Now the question is that why you should watch this interview. You should watch this interview if you are a job seeker. You should watch this interview if you want to invest. You should watch this interview to learn from the best ever experiences our interviewees have had. So let's get started. For today's interview, we have Ms. Lakshmi Shirisha, who is a young social change maker, an IT consultant by profession, a visionary leader, socialpreneur, author, keynote speaker, and an advocate of diversity and inclusion. She is the founder and president of Asra Foundation, working towards child education and women entrepreneur. Asra Foundation working towards girl child education and women empowerment. Now, Asra is a social service organization involved in supporting young girls and specially abled child with their education and related services like laboratory, sports equipments, library facilities, separate toilets, etc. and other business giants. So let's know more about this wonderful foundation from Lakshmi herself. So good afternoon, ma'am. I am More Tanvi from Startup Lanes, and we are very grateful to have you on the board for this interview.
Hi Tanvi. It's my pleasure too.
Yes. Ma'am, I will please request you to introduce yourself to our viewers.
So my name is Sirisha. I work as a principal consultant in Infosys. I'm also a founder and president for Asra Foundation, an NGO.
So ma'am, my very first question to you is that how did you come up with this idea of social startup?
So it's the idea hasn't formed in a day. Actually, it is more like a personal journey for me. Me and my brother, we had a very challenging time and lot of struggles completing our education after the demise of our father. So after I completed the education and started earning, I thought I need to help others who are struggling or who are going through the same thing I went through once. So with that idea, I started helping one girl, and that became few, and my family and friends joined, and we started reaching out to more people in need. And eventually I thought we have to help in an organized manner. It's good that we start an organization. So that is how we started Asra.
Okay. So ma'am, can you explain your services that you provide?
Right. Our primary focus is girl child education. So we help girl children with their education, financial aid, support in admissions and things like that, and education related services like creating separate toilets for girls and boys, providing the sanitary requirement for girls in the schools, building libraries and physical training equipment. So all education and related services for girl children, and we are now also extending our services to specially abled, like visually challenged.
Okay. So ma'am, as per my knowledge, there are a number of NGOs and organizations who work for the same cause. So what was the market gap that you identified before commencement?
So there are NGOs which has they are like orphanages or like old age homes or like homes for specially able. So these NGOs already house this kind of house people. What we are targeting is those people who are living with their families, living outside, but still has a lot of financial, physical, and other challenges. So this is the requirement we wanted to meet. So there are people who need help, and there are also many people who are ready to offer that help. So we are like an integrator, we are like an enabler between these two. We are just helping the means meet the needs. So that is what is different about this.
Okay. So ma'am, actually I am also connected to an organization, and running an NGO is not an easy job. So what was the difficult part that you identified, that you faced in the early stage of the journey?
So when we started, like any other organization, we hadn't a clue what we are doing. We just started, and we started helping everyone that we can reach out to, and in anything that they need. And over a period of time, we realized that this kind of help is not creating any difference to the way people are living, or to their or a permanent solution to their problems. So that is, after a long period, we understood that it is essential that we have a cause and we reach a targeted set of people who are extremely in need, and that whatever we are doing will create a long lasting impact in their life. So identifying that took us some time, and also the kind of help that we need to provide these kind of services at a large scale. It is a lot of resources, and none of us are like come from any financially strong background. It needs a lot of resources. It needs a lot of financial, physical, intellectual resources. However, I would never say that it has been a struggle, because fortunately, people just joined. Whenever we wanted money, money came. Whenever we wanted people to help us physically, volunteers came, and it just fall into place automatically. So I think mine is not a struggle story in that terms.
Okay, that's really very great. So can you list down 2 to 3 unique features about your organization?
The first thing is that the right cause, education. We strongly believe that education and awareness has the power to transform lives. And if one girl child or a woman is educated in the house, that transforms the way their family and the way they live their lives. So, which is why we took education and enablement as a primary goal. And the second thing is the long lasting impact I talked about earlier also. So whatever we are doing is not an immediate relief or a break fix solution. It helps them in the long run in their life, and it leaves a long lasting impact. And the diversity and inclusion, the focused group we have, which is girls, women, and specially able. So these are those marginal communities in our society and country that no one really focuses on. And how much progress we are making as a society, diversity and inclusion is always a challenge, and that is the area we want to work on and try to get equal opportunities, equal rights, and equal possibilities for everyone.
Talking about challenges as an NGO you are facing, I want to know that what keeps you motivated to throughout the journey.
Actually, it is the girls, the children I work with. They are my huge source of motivation. These girl children I'm talking about, they went through unexplainable tragedies in their life, and so much pain, loss, and suffering. And despite that, they just bounce back and they get on with their life. Their fearlessness, their confidence, and their urge to live a better life. I think that kind of determination is very hard to find in anyone else. No one can match that. And that is a true source of inspiration and motivation for me. And at times when I go to visit them, someone who comes along with me, my family or friends, I mean, they also go back home with the same kind of emotion. They tell me very often that has left a very deep impact in their life, that whatever interaction they had with these children leaves a very long lasting and deep impact in anyone's life once you interact with them. I think I've seen amazing successes that these children have accomplished in their life, and from what they have faced and from where they have come from to where they have reached. The journey is so inspiring.
Okay. Ma'am, my next question is very interesting. If not this organization, what else you would be doing right now?
I would be doing the same thing, maybe at a personal level, or maybe as a volunteer for another organization. I can't think of anything else that I could do.
Okay. So what are the recent and long-term plans for your organization?
So recently, as you know, we are going through some unprecedented times because of the pandemic. So currently, all our focus is purely in providing the relief related help, and also helping the children continue their education. There are many who have lost both their parents, or a single parent, or an earning member of their family, and they want to they have to discontinue their education. So we're trying to continue their education. We are trying to help with gadgets that are required for online studying, and the cost of their internet connections, and some of them don't even have two-time food to eat. So all those basic needs, and it is all around that. And at one point of time, we were running from pillar to post, helping with the mask, sanitization, and food, and even the basic needs they do not have. So currently it is all very chaotic, and this is all we are doing at this moment. But the our future plan is that we extend our services to physically challenged community also. So I myself have been through that phase of being wheelchair ridden for some time after I met with an accident for a year or so. And I have first seen the kind of challenges that every seemingly simple thing is a very complex thing for them, like even going to a washroom, or going to the office, and all these things are very challenging for them, because in our country we don't our offices, our buildings, they're not equipped to
disabled people,
and they face a lot of challenges and difficulties. So it's really my dream to do something for them and create at least some kind of comfort level that they can do their day-to-day activities without assistance.
Ma'am, NGOs have been a savior, like all-time saviors throughout these years, and you are also doing a great job. So wrapping up this session, I would love to hear the feedback on Startup Lanes, and also if you want to thank someone from your team or friends and family, then please go ahead.
So I think Startup Lanes, you are doing phenomenal job in enabling startups. The kind of platform that you're providing for startups or organizations like us, it's going to create a lot of difference to our work. So amazing job. I wish you lots and lots of success. Keep helping people. I'd really like to thank you, Startup Lane, Tishi, you, and all the volunteers and my family and friends, whoever have helped me or helped Asra. I'm just the face of Asra. There are a lot of people behind me who help. And especially one person I really feel worth mentioning is my son, because the time I have to spend with him is something I divert it to the other children I work with. And he's very cool about it. And children get money from their grandparents, uncles, aunts. They give them money for festivals and birthdays and all. So he accumulates all that money, and when I go for some kind of this work, he gives me that money and say, "Mommy, use this to help someone." So I think he's the youngest and the most sweetest benefactor of Asra. So I especially thank him.
Thank you for your time and your crucial words. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you to you too.